Good evening on a Sunday. It's about 7 o'clock. Coming to you kind of the way I used to do this in front of my touchscreen monitor at home. It was a good weekend. It was warm to hot. We did hit 90, I believe, in Salem yesterday. Today it appears Portland and Salem stopped 88, 89 degrees at the warmest. But yeah, I'm sure you thought it was pretty toasty in the sun. In the sun. Yeah. There's the Inn at Ottercrest this evening. Just beautiful blue Pacific waters. So everybody has been seeing sunshine. There is an exception. I'm going to show you. Up in the Cascades, same thing. The Mount Hood, Oregon Resort up in Welch's. Here's that exception. So if you look carefully, you can kind of see the Three Sisters there and there and there. But that is a very thick, smoky haze from wildfire smoke, which we talked about last week. It took it a little while to really move into Central Oregon, but they have been dealing this weekend with poor visibility, at least in spots. That's the camera, by the way, at Aspen Lakes Golf Course looking back at the Three Sisters. And they've also been dealing with some reduced air quality, which we had concerns about. Generally not horrific, but this is the latest from DEQ. I just grabbed this shortly before 7 o'clock this evening. So the orange there down around La Pine, south of Three Rivers, that is unhealthy for folks that have a sensitivity to the air quality, respiratory issues. If you get up, let's see here, there's around Black Butte Ranch, moderate air quality. There were still some good air qualities. This is Sun River where it's moderate. And again, we were looking up in this area. There's Sherman, Black Butte Ranch. We were looking in this Sisters area where that really looks smoky. And there's not a ton of reporting sites. So just realize if your plans take you over to Central Oregon tomorrow, they have an air quality alert that at this point is posted through Monday evening. So if you're going to be traveling over the Cascades into Central Oregon, Sun River Bend, etc., you're going to find some of that. Here on the west side, we're going to be shaking things up. Air quality's been fine, but we're going to maybe get some rain tomorrow, which is probably my biggest story. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I do want to run through all of this air quality and wildfire information for you. So I've circled the two biggest fires. This is from the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center. You see the Golden, Man Lake, Bedrock, Haight Creek, Newell Road, all these different fires. The biggest one, the Flat Fire, so that is now burned. Let me get my notes. Over 20,000 acres. It started back on July 15th. Still no containment. It has officially been labeled as human caused, which means it wasn't sparked by lightning. And then we got the Newell Road. This is 20 miles east of Goldendale, of course, on the Washington side of the gorge. 30,000 acres. Started recently on July 21st. And no signs of containment. I don't believe they have a reason for that fire that they've officially come out with yet. But this is the busiest that our wildfire map has been this entire season. Again, 1, 2, 3, Central Oregon, 4, 5, 6 of them. 2 of them are quite large. So just keeping you updated on the current wildfire situation. Okay, now to my number one big story. We could actually get some rain tomorrow. Not a big soak. Maybe the bigger story is going to be cloudy skies and temperatures that will definitely hold in the 70s. So here's the current upper level wind flow pattern. The high pressure systems that have been down in Texas and Arizona and at times kind of coming up into our area. We've been feeding off of these highs. Again, we were upper 80s to 90s in a few spots, or just making it to 90s. I mentioned on down in Salem on Saturday. I think Eugene hit 90 yesterday and today. Anyway, that's going to be pushing back to the east a little bit. Here's the upper level low that's going to be basically moving toward land, and then as it pushes inland, it will be to our north. But I think it's deep enough and it's going to be close enough that we will get at least some action. So remember, we've talked about this in the past. An old forecaster's trick is that if you look, what I do, I think my shoulder hit the map. If you look at the 576 contour millibar line, which is right here, that in terms of weather systems marching inland, not convection, but getting precipitation from an actual organized front or a weather system, the 576 line tends to be the wet-dry line. If the 576 line is north of you, you have a good chance to stay dry. Now notice we're at 582 currently. We're going to be right about this 576 line tomorrow into tomorrow night as this low moves inland and stays just to our north. You can see the cloud band at ahead of it. So I think we're going to be cloudy tomorrow. We're going to be right on the edge with hopes of getting some amazable precipitation. And this will be a factor tomorrow night into early Tuesday morning. So this is our best chance, certainly for July so far, of some measurable rain. Remember, PDX has only had a trace of moisture so far this month, and that was from some misty drizzle that we had, I think, a couple weeks back. All right, so here's the European upper low map. This is tomorrow afternoon. Now, forecast models show that if we're not cloudy at sunrise tomorrow morning, we will quickly become overcast at the coast and in the valley and out into the West Gorge during the morning hours tomorrow. And while it may be a dry start, we could see some light precipitation in the area before noon, okay? So again, here's the low, 558 millibar contour tomorrow afternoon. Staying north of us as it starts to march toward Canada. Here's the 576 contour line. Again, we're kind of right there. I mean, technically, we're still a little bit south of it, which would, by my own rule, tell you that we don't have a great chance for moisture. But there's enough other indications. I think we're going to be close enough to get a little bit of something. So this is kind of what we're looking at. My phone's beeping if you hear that. I'll put it in the drawer. All right, European model. This is tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m., what we call moisture saturation at 10,000 feet in the atmosphere. See the green and blue colors right in here? This is heavy overcast of cloud cover. Doesn't mean it's going to rain, but it does mean that there's a heavy band of cloudiness that's going to be right over our heads all afternoon. And as a forecaster, the fact that we've got a little bit of energy around that upper level low, although the low is just to our north, we got good moisture saturation, you've got to think there's at least a reasonable chance, more than 50-50, that we'll get some moisture. So we'll see. Here's what the weather models are putting out. Let me warn you, it's nothing impressive, but it is our dry season. Anything we could get would be lovely. And again, maybe the bigger story Monday turns out to be clouds and the fact that it's really comfortable with temperatures in the low to mid 70s for highs. This is the North American model. It's an older model. I don't talk about it that much, but it still does some good work for us. This shows 0.2 of an inch of rain up in the Cascades around the gorge of Hood River Valley. Shows 1/12 of an inch of rain up around Astoria. The light gray is like a trace to less than 5/100ths of an inch of rain in the I-5 corridor. So like maybe summation, maybe a couple tenths in the Cascades, maybe a tenth in the coast, maybe 2/10 in the coast range, less than 1/10 of an inch in the valley. Okay, here's what they call the WRF model. This is a newer model. It's projecting about the same, 5/100ths to 26/100ths on average. The blue is the heavier rain. So again, here's that low up to our north. So there's the main flow of where they're going to get a really good soak. That's Vancouver Island. So that's obviously well north of our area. They show maybe 1/2 of an inch of rain getting into the Olympic Mountains of Washington. This shows 17/100ths in Astoria. Again, about 2/10 of an inch of rain potentially up around Mount Hood. 26/100ths down around Newport. And in the valley, though, again, kind of that 5/100ths to probably less than 1/10 of an inch. This does give you folks up in Kelso Lompoc maybe the chance of 1/10 of an inch of rain. Again, rain chances look to me like they start late morning, and then we'll have that ongoing chance of moisture all the way through Monday night into early Tuesday morning. So that's at least a pretty good window of cloud cover, with some cooler weather. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, if we wake up, if it's cloudy by mid-morning, I think it will be. It's probably going to be 64, 65 degrees at noon. And then if we could squeeze a little bit of light moisture out in the afternoon, it's possible that Monday in Portland, Salem, and Vancouver, that we struggle just to get up to 70. Now, I tried to cover by 4. I put 74 there, thinking, well, I'll be surprised if we don't make it to 70. But we may not. So that's a really comfortable day with that ongoing threat of probably less than 1/10 of an inch. But hopefully we get more than a trace, right? The light moisture continues, the chance Monday overnight into early Tuesday morning. Then Tuesday shows partial clearing in the afternoon and the moisture chance ends. But I still think comfortable, 78. Again, we talked about this last week. Here's Wednesday, clouds to sun, but comfortable. I don't see us being much warmer than 80. Thursday, mostly sunny, 78 or 80. Comfortable. 4 days in a row. Count them. How about that? And then we will be getting a little bit warmer going into Friday and Saturday, but I don't see any 90-degree weather this week. I don't see any extreme 100-degree heat even out in the East Gorge and the Columbia Basin. So we'll see what we get rain-wise tomorrow. The big story here, though, is a most comfortable week overall that we've seen in a while. So I hope you can look forward to that. All right, thanks for hitting subscribe to my weather channel here on YouTube. My weather site's portlandweather.com. Anxious to see if we get something tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon.